First of all, requesting our principal, Dr. R.M. Lingdo, to kindly deliver the welcome speech. Sir?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Madam Kharsanteo, chairperson of this online program. On behalf of Synod College, very good evening to one and all. I would like to welcome all of you to this online program, Discipline in the Time of COVID, organized by the Cleanliness Discipline Committee of Synod College, Long. I would like to especially welcome Dr. Mrs. R. Alia, Joint Director of Health Services and Project Director, Meghalaya AIDS Control Society. Ma'am, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us in this online program. I know that all of us will gain a lot of information which we can apply to keep us safe and healthy. Thank you, ma'am. COVID-19 is a fact of life now, and many people have fallen prey to this virus. It has been a source of immense misery and pain for millions and has left many families broken. The human and economic cost of this pandemic will leave a mark in the history of the 21st century. Therefore, as community, as a society, and as a country, we have an important responsibility to maintain a strict discipline so as to stem the flow of this virus in our states and country. I believe that we can and we will defeat this virus, but this is of the essence. We cannot allow the virus to take hold of our body and be a carrier or a vector of this virus. We must strictly adhere to the protocol set up by the Ministry of Health and by the government. We must also remember the longer we allow the virus to propagate among us, we are putting ourselves, our loved one, and our country in grave danger. Today, we have with us Dr. Mrs. R. Alia, who will give all of us more information, and I hope you will spread this information to your family and friends. My dear students, teachers, and resource person, I once again welcome you all to this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome and for your presence with us this evening. So on behalf of the Discipline and Cleanliness Committee, I would just like to say that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought tremendous changes in our life. The last year and the early part of this year, offline classes have taken a back seat, and we, both teachers as well as students, have to grapple with the new reality of online classes. So with the resumption of the offline class in the last week, the members of the committee felt the need to organize a special lecture in order to sensitize our students on COVID-appropriate behavior, both within the campus as well as outside it, and also lay emphasis on the importance of self-discipline. So with this objective in mind, the committee decided to organize this lecture on the theme, Discipline in the Times of COVID-19, and we have requested our resource person, Dr. R. Alia, to kindly deliver a lecture on this theme. And so I will now request Dr. R. Alia to kindly deliver her lecture.
Mrs. Gwinnett, she is also a friend of mine who is the chairperson of today's program, respected Principal Sir, and all the teachers, and my dear students who are present here in this program today, this evening. A very, very good evening to all of you. And I would like to express my most sincere thanks to the college who had, and especially to the Discipline and Cleanliness Committee for coming up with this program, which is very, very important right now. And I especially like the theme of today's program, or rather I should say, like, it will not be a lecture, or rather I should say a discussion, which is discipline in the COVID-19 times. Yes, we really need discipline if we have to go back to being normal. Really, really thankful. And I would also like to request that please take part. It will be an interactive session. I don't want to give a lecture because that will be boring. So I would like let it be a give and take. And I also have to admit that COVID-19 is a new disease. We as medical professionals also, we still do not know everything about it. Maybe there are things which you would ask me later, which I will not know. And so please bear with me on this. And having said this, I would just like to remind you all about the brief history of COVID-19. As we all remembered, COVID-19, or we first heard of this coronavirus as we knew then in the year 2019, and we all knew that it started from Wuhan in China, and later the WHO named this disease as COVID-19, and the virus is known as the novel coronavirus. Well, this coronavirus is not a virus which is new. In fact, it had been there since the year 2003. And maybe that time, and I always used to think about the role of social media. Maybe if social media had been very active in 2003, we would have really heard about SARS-1. What is SARS? S-A-R-S. This is a severe acute respiratory syndrome. So this virus, it causes this SARS, and this right now, COVID-19 is also known as SARS-CoV-2, COVID-2, SARS-CoV-2. So, but the virus has sort of, it differs a bit. It is the same coronavirus, but the difference is that this virus is more, we can say it is more lethal. It is more lethal, and it is very highly contagious, and it really, really affects the lungs, which it affects the lungs and also the entire body, the entire organs of the body. So we all know about this. And so now I would request any of the students, please do not feel shy. Please do not hesitate. You are all with your college teachers only. So I would just like to just, if anyone will volunteer and just tell me about the mode of transmission. Can anyone tell me, like, how is COVID-19? Because you must have read a lot of information, whether it's online or whether it's in the print media, you must have heard a lot. And I think by now you know how is COVID-19 transmitted. Can anyone volunteer, please?
Miss, it is airborne.
Yes, very good. Yes, indeed,
So
it is airborne. Okay, it is. Yes, go on. Okay, yes, indeed, it is an airborne illness. Okay, and how can you tell me how does it enters the body? Can anyone tell me how does? Yes.
It enters through eyes, nose, or the mouth.
Yes. So, it's very easy to remember. There's just an acronym, MEN, M-E-N. So the mouth, the eyes, and the nose. And how does it enter?
Through droplets, ma'am.
It's very good. You know, you all know about the mode of transmission, right? So if you are in contact, or if you sit near, or if you are talking with anyone in very close proximity with anyone who has got this illness, so if they cough, you can understand. If they sneeze, you know, you may inhale the virus. And also there's another mode of transmission. Can anyone remember that? That's, you know, because we have to keep on, you know, to sanitize our hands, right? We keep on saying that you wash your hands, sanitize your hands. Why do we do that? Okay, because you see, yeah. Can you just repeat, you know, maybe come nearer to the microphone? I cannot hear you properly.
To keep our hands free from microorganisms.
Yes, very true, because the coronavirus itself is a microorganism. So what happens is that, you know, like sometimes we, you know, when we sneeze, when we cough, then, you know, we have the tendency to, you know, always, you know, to stop, you know, like we always protect, you know, or rather we block our mouth or our nose, you know, when we cough, we always do this. So the virus, it can get into our hands. And then if we suppose you give a handshake, which we all know, if you shake hands with anyone, then that virus gets transmitted. And earlier it was also said that it can be transmitted to the surfaces that you touch. But of course, now they do say that surface transmission is not as potent as it was once thought to be of. But the main source, the main mode of infection right now, is the close proximity or the close contact. Okay, so okay, now we'll just move slightly away from the, you know, from the scientific part about coronavirus. And as a doctor, I just want to know about your experiences, the students. How do you feel about your online classes? What do you feel? Do you like the online classes? Do you think that you really benefit? Would you prefer to continue with online classes, or would you like to come back to the college? So, you know, can you just tell me about your experiences throughout this whole, like, you know, the pandemic, since you've been missing a lot of classes, you've been having a lot of, you know, like online classes. Can you please tell me?
Offline classes better, miss.
Why do you think offline classes are better?
So we can interact more with the teachers.
Yes, very true, right? And I'm sure, you know, like online classes also, I think you tend to cheat a bit, right? You must be there, but you know your camera is off and you're somewhere. I mean, it happens with me also, I have to admit. We have a lot of virtual meetings nowadays, you know, we don't have, you know, so yeah, you know, I think concentration also is tough. And so I know. And then, and what about even do you think that you gain more knowledge during your online classes or during your offline classes?
During offline classes, ma'am.
Offline, right? Yes, offline classes. Yes. And what about your internet connectivity?
Too difficult, miss.
We can depend on the internet nowadays, ma'am, because many users are doing the internet.
Yes, very true, very true. You know, we cannot always depend on our internet connectivity. It's very, very true. And everyone is having problems with this. Now that we've heard from the students, maybe I would also like our respected teachers to also join in. I would like to just get some feedback with you from the teachers also about, you know, online classes.
So it's difficult, ma'am. It's difficult to have online classes because we would like to have interaction with our students. So when we have online classes, we do not really know whether the students are really sitting for the class or not. So that leaves us in a bit of a vacuum because whatever we have been teaching in the online classes, how much it has gone to the students, we do not know. While if we interact with the students in the class, at least from their faces and from their response, we can know whether they have understood our lecture or not. So that is for us, for me, myself.
And I also, I'm very interested also to know, like, how do you prepare your, your classes and your notes? Like, usually when, because like in the classroom, it's very different. You lecture and, and then even for the notes. So how do you give notes to your students?
Ma'am, if I may. With this whole online mode, what we have to do is we have to follow this blended mode of teaching, whereby we are supposed to give the students notes before the classes or perhaps during the classes. And we put these notes, some teachers, they share these notes in WhatsApp groups. Some of them have Google Classrooms dedicated to certain classes and semesters. And you can say that notes are being shared there. And essentially, ideally, the notes are supposed to be there for the students to look at, to peruse over, so that when we move into the class, eventually, when we have our online classes, we can have a discussion on these notes that have been shared. Sadly, that doesn't always, it's a good idea, but it doesn't always translate into, actual reality, because students tend to always look at the notes only during assignments or during the exams, and that's about it, which is rather sad. But these are some of the things that we have to deal with.
Thank you very much, because I do remember one of my relatives is also a teacher in one of the big schools of Shillong. So she was telling me that that all the students on their online tests, they were all getting 90, 100. So, and then when they you remember there was a brief period where the students had come back to school, that not now, but in the earlier, before the second wave. So she said that when they came back to school, the same students were scoring 80, 90, when in the real test in school, they were scoring 30, 20, 30. So I think even the students also, pardon me, the students, I think you take things lightly. I think even when you have tests also, right, you must be just copying down or whatever. So anyway, so now we do understand that how much COVID-19 has affected us. COVID-19, we have seen with our own eyes, we have heard with our own ears how much COVID-19 has affected the entire world. It is not only about health. Yes, people are dying. We will talk about that later. But your education has been affected. The economy has been affected. People are losing their livelihood. And this, just as Principal Sir had rightly said, so we cannot continue like this. So that's why I want to ask the students now, what do you think we should do that normalcy will return? Would you like normalcy to return? I'm sure you would. And as some of you had rightly said that you prefer coming back to college. There's nothing like it, meeting your friends, it's so lonely to just be at home and to study alone. And so what do you think we can do, as the society, that normalcy will return?
Individual must need to be disciplined by following all those steps which have been provided by the WHO.
Yes, very true. Like following all the SOPs, right, given by our own state government, given by the WHO. But do you think that is happening?
No, miss.
So, who do you think is responsible for this? Cases are still there. Like today also, the number of positive cases are still 200 plus. And the recoveries today are quite low. They're only about 80 plus. Deaths are always there. So do you think that it is the government who is responsible for not controlling this, the COVID-19?
I think
Is
yes.
it only the government?
It's the ignorant people, ma'am.
I'm very glad that that you've said that, because have you seen that we as human beings, we always like to blame others for everything. We always like to blame. And especially where COVID-19 is concerned, the government is not doing this. Kasorkar kamle ekani, kasorkar, it's always kasorkar, right? It's always the government, But what do we need? Now you've said that it is us. Now what do we need to do to bring normalcy? The students, please. What do we need to do to bring back normalcy to end COVID-19?
Get vaccinated.
Yes, very good. Then what else?
We need to work together and follow the rules provided by the government.
Yes, can you tell me one or two of the rules?
Getting vaccinated and wearing our masks.
Getting vaccinated, wearing our masks, anything else?
Maintain social distancing.
Yes, very good. And another thing?
And wash our hands.
Yes, very good.
Ma'am, can you just unmute your mic? Can you just unmute your mic?
Okay, yes, sorry. Rather, these are the only 4 protocols which you have to follow. See, COVID-19 is so easy to end it. There are only 4. And you all know them at the tip of your hands. Yes, wearing of mask. Social distancing.
Ma'am, can I ask you one question?
Yes, sure.
Ma'am, when I look at the news, they said that that in India next year that the COVID-19 will evolve.
Will evolve.
Yeah, like COVID-22.
That's what, as we say, we cannot always predict the future. Okay?
Yeah, but in the news they already predicted, ma'am.
That's why, the news sometimes, that's the problem with today's world. Okay.
That's why
the news, that's what the news people, they know more than the scientists.
Yeah, you're right, ma'am.
Yeah, isn't that true? Social media knows more than us doctors. Okay. So I'll just give you an example. Okay. In my own family, my first cousin, she died of COVID. Her husband died a week later. They have only one daughter who's 16 years old, and now she's an orphan. Maybe you've heard about it. Okay. Now, very sad to say, but the husband, he suspected that his wife is having COVID, and he went to the net to sort of buy his own medicines. Okay. I don't blame him also, because there's so much, we have stigmatized COVID-19. We ourselves, we have stigmatized COVID. Okay, so this is the problem now. COVID actually is an illness. For other illnesses, we go to the doctors. Of course, now we are all Google doctors, right? Now we are all Google doctors. We are all Google medical specialists. But especially where COVID-19, the word of the Google doctors, the word of the YouTubers, who are not specialists, who are not scientists, who are not medical personnel, they carry more weight. So that is the problem. So even about this evolution, I have not heard anything. That's what I told you from the beginning. There are many things which I still don't know about COVID-19. Okay, so even about the evolution also, I am sorry, I really don't know. Yes, it may evolve into something else. That is how it evolved from SARS-1. The same virus evolved into this COVID-19 virus, or rather the coronavirus. Okay, so coming back to the protocols, you all know it's wearing your mask, social distancing, then washing your hands, and vaccination. So do you think these are very difficult protocols to follow? My dear students, do you think these are very difficult to follow, the protocols?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Then, but they are so easy, but why do you think COVID is still spreading?
I think people take it lightly.
Yes. You yourself, do you wear mask all the time when you go out?
Of course, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Very good. But this is where discipline comes into place, right? Most of us, we are not disciplined enough to follow the protocols. We are not disciplined enough. So what is the proper way of wearing a mask to make it effective? Can anyone tell me? What should the mask cover? When you wear the mask, what should it cover?
The nose and the mouth.
Yes. So, but if you walk in the streets, how do most of the people wear the mask?
The nose
In their chins.
Yeah. Is that correct? You see.
No.
Yes. You see that most of us, when we wear mask, it doesn't cover the most important part, which organ do we breathe in?
Nose.
The nose. Okay. So most of the part, that most important organ of the body, which the coronavirus enters, is not covered. It is not covered. We put it in our chin, as if we are protecting the chin, which is the most important. The mouth and the nose, they are not covered. So is this correct? Do you think that we are responsible enough? No, we are not responsible, right? And you students, you are the future of a country. If the majority of the youths, if you are disciplined, if you inculcate in yourself the habit of being disciplined, you can stop this virus. Now, when you come to, I think now you must be starting your offline classes also. So when you come to the college, do you always remember to wear your mask or to at least sanitize your hands?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, miss.
All the time. Be honest with me. No, I know it is. Yeah, of course, I know it is difficult. We cannot all the time. Okay. So that is where you have to inculcate. We have to inculcate in ourselves this discipline. It's all about being disciplined. Because see, COVID-19 is not a difficult enemy for us to fight. And it is not an enemy where it is only the government or the health department who will fight against it. Without your help, we cannot defeat this enemy. So please, be responsible. When you wear your mask, make sure, if it is possible, you can wear double mask. Double mask, they give more protection. You can wear a surgical mask, you can wear a surgical mask, make it the inner layer, and any cloth mask as the outer layer. But if you wear an N95 mask, that will be enough. Only one layer also will be enough. And make sure that when you wear your mask, make sure that this part, the nose is covered, Okay, the nose is covered. There should be no gaps in the side, and also it should cover till the chin. Please make sure of that. Okay, and also like do not touch the front of your mask frequently, because there may be viruses in the front of the mask. Always when you want to adjust your mask or anything, you always do it from the side. And another very important thing is that you should always wash your mask. You should always wash your mask. Remember, surgical masks, they cannot be reused for a long period of time. Okay, what you can do is that, of course, we cannot afford to buy, to use a new one every day. After reaching home, you can just sanitize them by hanging them outside, because air and sunlight has been proven to be effective in killing the coronavirus. But where cloth masks are concerned, please make sure that you wash your mask frequently. Now, the other protocol which we have to follow, as we all know, is social distancing. I do admit social distancing is very, very difficult. I don't know now in the class, I don't know whether you have all started physical classes or not. And if so, I just want to have an idea, how are you arranging the classes now? Have you started offline classes, physical classes?
Yes,
ma'am.
Ma'am, please mute your microphone.
What is the seating? Yeah, I've unmuted. What is the seating arrangement? What is your seating arrangement, please, for the physical classes?
Ma'am, we have tried our level best to divide the class into 2 sections so that we can maintain social distancing.
Okay, so that's what your students. This is where your role, comes in. You must be disciplined enough that as your teachers have advised you to sit, please sit in that particular fashion. I'm sure social distancing has been maintained, and I know it is very tempting for us to huddle in groups and all that. And especially I want to stress on one fact where social distancing is concerned: during your tiffin times. If you have tiffin together, if you eat together, or if you go to the canteen, and this is one particular period where you are very, very vulnerable. Because you see, when we eat, we have to take off our mask. Okay, and especially when we are together in the group, we enjoy having food together. We tend to sit closely together, and also we have conversations. And remember, like when we speak, or by chance we cough at that time, or we sneeze, if anyone is infected with the COVID-19 and is asymptomatic, that virus will automatically be transmitted out. And anyone who is unlucky may contact the virus and may be infected with it. This is the problem with COVID-19, because of the asymptomatic carriers, as we tell them. And even the symptomatic also, because why? Most of the cases, they, as you have seen, they manifest as, flu. So, we tend to take it very lightly. And also remember diarrhea also. This is one also very common symptom of COVID-19, diarrhea. Loose motions. If you have loose motions, do not take it for granted. So please remember that when you eat together, please remember, try not to sit near each other, because that is where you are most vulnerable, because you don't have your mask on. And then we come to hand sanitization. So if possible, please carry with you the hand sanitizers or wash your hands with soap and water. Soap and water is the best way to sanitize your hands, but please do wash your hands properly, okay? And try to sanitize, especially when you go to the college, and especially when you use when you have to use the restrooms. Try to avoid sharing your notebooks. Try to avoid sharing your pens or your pencils with each other as much as possible. As much as possible, please do that. And now I come to the most important part of what we can do to stop the virus. And as one of the students had rightly said, it is vaccination. Yes, I know that vaccination is a very controversial topic. There is a lot of misconceptions about vaccination, a lot of fake news going around. But I can assure you that we need to be vaccinated in order to build up any immunity against COVID-19. So where I know vaccination is very controversial, so I will not say anything more about vaccination, but I would like to have questions. I would like to address your questions, because I know if I tell you, you all know that vaccination, of course, remember that it is preventive. It protects. It doesn't mean that once you are vaccinated, you will not get COVID-19. It is not like that. It is to protect us against COVID-19. Okay, it is not 100% that we will not get the vaccine as any other vaccine. Vaccines are to protect us if we are infected with the illness. Because vaccines, what do? They prevent, they help us in I'll just give a little bit about the background of a vaccine. A vaccine is something which we introduce into the body, and when the vaccine is injected into the body realizes that this is a foreign agent which has entered into my body, which is known as the antigen, and then the body, it stimulates the production of antibodies, which you must have heard. Antibodies, they are the soldiers of our body. You can say the vaccine is the enemy. Like COVID-19 is our enemy. So when it enters, then suddenly the body realizes, okay, this is a new enemy which has entered. Now I must have my security guards ready. I must train. So then the antibodies are produced, which will fight against the illness. But this enemy is so small, the enemy is so weak that it cannot cause any harm to our body. It cannot cause any harm. It will not cause, that the body will get COVID-19. So this is a vaccine. And so for us to be protected against COVID-19, for us to stop the spread of the infection, we need to be vaccinated. So where vaccination is concerned, I would be very grateful if those of you who have any doubts, please do not hesitate to voice your concerns or to voice your questions, and I will try to answer as much as I can.
So we are requesting students as well as teachers, if you have any questions on vaccination, then please ask Dr. Alia. She'll be prepared to answer your questions.
Or rather, any other questions also, if you have any other questions also, I'll be happy to, to give it my best.
Ma'am?
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to know one thing. How effective is the vaccination to those who have autoimmune diseases?
Yes. Where autoimmune diseases are concerned, the vaccine can safely be administered, but everything depends on the blood counts, because autoimmune diseases are of different types. So we always advise to consult your treating doctor, because they know like about the illness. But most of the autoimmune diseases, if everything is fine, they can safely take whoever is suffering from an autoimmune disease, they can safely take the vaccine. But again, as I said, it is always better to consult with your particular consultant who has been treating the illness.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am, I'll just read a question that student Rohit Day has asked. His question is social distancing possible in low-cost infrastructure? I think what he's trying to say is many a times when we talk about social distancing, we tend to not understand the ground realities of the fact that there are families, there are communities that have to live so very close to one another, and social distancing isn't even a possibility at all. So I think that is what his question is, is social distancing possible in such situations?
Yes, this is something which we all face a problem with right from the very beginning. I still remember, when COVID-19 has just started, and that time, that was in the month of maybe like March. We as a government, we tried preparing for COVID-19 from February, March onwards of 2019. And yes, this is a problem which we faced, because I still remember that time. You remember that fear which we all had, like when COVID-19 first came to Shillong. I still remember the fear that we all went through. And that time, anyone who tested COVID positive, we wanted them to bring to the Corona care centers. And we did visit a number of households to go and inspect the households and everything. And yes, I have to say that social distancing is very, very difficult to maintain, where in as you say, using the word of a student, in low cost structures. Because maintaining a space of 6 feet is not possible. It is not possible. Yes, I have to admit that this is not possible. But the only way that you can protect yourself is if you think you're having symptoms, or if you are at risk of COVID-19, even in such structures, is to wear a mask at all times. No way out. There is no way out except to wear a mask. And I would just like to share with you, if you are still thinking about the questions about vaccination, it really has its benefits. Again, I just want to share with you what happened in my family. My cousin who passed away, she was not vaccinated. Her elder brother and elder sister also, they were positive, but they were vaccinated and nothing happened to them, and they did not even spread the illness to their immediate family. And we have seen the number of deaths. And I would just like to inform you about this second wave. It is very, very like this second wave has really taken its toll in our lives and in our state. I just want to share some facts here. In the first wave, which started on the 13th of April 2020 and ended in December 2020, the number of deaths are 139. Okay, number of deaths are 139, and till date, the number of deaths are, I think they must come to maybe around 14,000 or something, if I'm not mistaken, or 13. Okay, I will check later. Or you can just check today if you have your your Instagram accounts. You just go to Shillong Times or to any Shillong Times or T7. You will see the number of total deaths. So out of these 13,000 plus deaths in the first wave, the number of deaths was 139. Okay. Now the second wave came very lethal. You have seen. And the second wave started, we took it officially from the 1st of April 2021. And till date, the 16th of September, we've had 1,231 deaths. 1,231 deaths. The first wave from April to December, the number of deaths were 139. Second wave, April till today, the number of deaths is 1,231. Now, in the last 14 days, whatever statistics I could gather, we've had 251 deaths. These are the statistics which I've given after the COVID vaccine came into the picture. The non-vaccinated, those who died who are not vaccinated, there are 209. Out of 251 deaths, COVID deaths, in the last 44 days, 209 were unvaccinated, which is about 83%. And we have seen, as medical fraternity, we have seen that people, yes, there have been breakthrough infections. What are breakthrough infections? Those people who have been fully vaccinated and who are again, but who still got COVID-19. Because we never said that, if you take the vaccine, you will not be infected. But we always say that if you take the vaccine, even if you get the infection, it will be mild. COVID will not be able to attack you as if you are not vaccinated, So we do see that in the fully vaccinated people, even though they get COVID, the effect is very, very mild. The effect is very, very mild. COVID, whatever, the misconceptions, it will not go away, or we will not be able to suppress it if we do not take the vaccine. Because we need to be immune against an illness to prevent its spread. And immunity can only come if you are infected with the illness, if you had been infected with the illness, or if you get vaccinated. And I'm sure none of us would like to get the immunity against COVID by being infected. And we have seen the effect, the post-COVID effect, as we see. We have seen the post-COVID effect. COVID has got very, very long-lasting effects. And especially for those who had been hospitalized, who had to get oxygen, who had to be intubated, who had to be under the ventilator, and so I would like just a simple request for me, for those of you who have not been vaccinated, if you are still hesitant about being vaccinated, please do not wait. Please do not wait, because we have a number of patients when they are in the ICU, when they are under oxygen, they ask us, please give us the vaccine now. And we cannot do. And also, because even after COVID, after you've got COVID, if even now you said, okay, fine, now I want to take the vaccine, you will have to wait 3 months. After being infected with COVID, you will have to wait 3 months. So I really request you that if we would like normalcy to return, we have to get vaccinated. This is another it is another aspect of being disciplined and of being responsible. So anyone else would like to ask me any question or any doubt, please do so.
Ma'am, there are 4 questions here.
Yes.
I'll just read all 4 of them so that you can address them quickly. One question is, are Dettol wipes as effective as hand sanitizers? Question number 2, how long can the vaccine protect us? Number 3, can you explain the types of vaccine like Covishield, the mRNA vaccine, and other types? And the fourth one would be, what happens when a person who has COVID but doesn't know about it take the vaccine?
Okay. Okay, thank you for the questions. I think the number 1 is whether wipes wipes are more effective. So regarding where these wipes, now we have a lot of facial wipes and a lot of hand wipes, and they do say that they are antibacterial or antiviral, but we really do not know about it, because I cannot really say whether they are more effective, but what I do feel is that if it is a good company, it comes from a company which is maybe like, and not very cheap, because anything that is cheap, we should always doubt its efficacy. But where I am concerned, I personally prefer I would prefer a sanitizer than a wipe. I would prefer a sanitizer than a wipe, personally. But I cannot really say about the efficacy, whether that, which one is better. But till now, like, as medical persons, because we are sure of the composition of a sanitizer, so we would prefer a sanitizer. And then number two is the efficacy of the COVID vaccine, right? How much will it last?
Yes, ma'am. That's the question.
Okay. This is one point where we are still, we do not really till now it is not clear about how long the effect of the vaccine will last. There are still research going on. Some research says, like 1 year, some says like it is lifelong, but till date there is no clear evidence about how long the vaccine can protect us. So I do not want to really give any particular time, because till date, as we keep on saying that this is a new illness, this is a new vaccine, we still have to wait. Then number three is
can you explain the different types of vaccines, like Covishield, the mRNA vaccines, and the other types?
Okay, whatever I have in my knowledge, which is available in India, I will only talk about the vaccines which are available in India. One, as we know, it is a Covishield vaccine, which we have it here in our state. This is what we call a viral vector, a viral vector vaccine, or something called an adenovirus. This vaccine, it consisted of a weakened version of the common cold virus. Okay, but they have introduced a bit of a spike protein of the coronavirus, a very tiny bit, just to introduce to the body that this is the enemy, that is the Covishield. And then we do have the Covaxin, which is given in other states. As we know, Covaxin is made by Bharat Biotech, and this is an inactivated viral vaccine. And then we do have the Sputnik 5, which is manufactured in Russia, which I am not very aware of. And then there is another vaccine which will be coming in hopefully by next month, or maybe by this month. This is the ZyCoV-D, ZyCoV-D, ZyCoV-D. This is a vaccine which can be administered even to children from the age of 12 years to 18 years. And so, like, I think the students here, those of you who are in class 11, 12, like, who are, you are not eligible for the Covishield vaccine now. If this vaccine comes into our state, please do not hesitate to take it. This is a DNA vaccine. It is a non-integrating, non-replicating plasmid carrying the novel coronavirus gene, a little bit of the coronavirus gene, just to introduce this just to introduce the coronavirus gene, a small bit of the plasmid part, into a body as the enemy, so that the antibodies may be produced. So these are the vaccines which we have right now in India. Of course, the ZyCoV-D, it is still to be introduced, or rather to be introduced to our country, but it is in the final process. And any other question? Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, just two more questions. What happens when a person who has COVID takes the vaccine, even though he does not know he has the vaccine, he takes the vaccine? Okay. Another question is, a person who got infected by COVID-19, why does that person have to wait for 3 months? And the last one is, how long does the Covishield effect last, which I think you've already
Yes, I've already
answered.
answered that. I think yes. Okay. So the one is the how. Again, I'm getting old. Sorry.
The question is, what happens to a person who has COVID but does not know about it and they take the vaccine?
See, like as I told you earlier, even you may be having COVID-19 and you don't know you are asymptomatic, you go and get the vaccine, right? So as I told you, this Covishield which we have now, it is just a very, very small part of a virus, of the common cold virus, which has a bit of a spike of the protein of the coronavirus. It is, when it is introduced into our body, it will not cause any harm. It will not cause any harm. It's not that, this together with the COVID-19 which you're already having, it will make it more serious. No, it is nothing like that. It will not cause any harm. Rather, it will be helping, because you will be getting antibodies from the vaccine itself and also from the illness which you are already having. So it will not cause any harm. So don't feel scared about it. There's nothing to worry about. Yes, COVID, like any vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination also, you may suffer from side effects. I think those of you who have taken, maybe you have your own experience. I personally, I did not get any side effects except for mild headache. I still remember I had a mild headache after coming out from the vaccination room. And then, but apart from that, I did not have. So even if you have COVID-19, you may just have slight mild effects, like fever or headache, which I've seen, which is manifested in some, but not all of those who are vaccinated. But there again, I want to reiterate that even if you may be having the COVID-19 in your body and unknowingly you took the vaccine, it will not cause any harm. And how and that's another question, right? On
ma'am, two more questions. No, 3 more questions have come. One question is a little long. Ma'am, everyone should wear a mask, but there are some people who say that they are healthy and they should not wear masks, because if they wear masks, they are not feeling well. So only people who have a fever or cough should wear masks. This kind of information leads to misunderstanding among people. That is one question. The second one, do you want me to read the questions separately, ma'am, or will you just address them?
Yeah, I think I'll just take one by one, because sometimes I tend to go, it goes off. Okay, so where the mask, wearing of mask is very, very important. Wearing of mask is very, very important. Okay, it is very, very wrong to say that only people who have symptoms, they should wear mask. Now just think, okay, I may be having COVID-19 in my body, okay? And even though I am fully vaccinated, I may still transmit the illness to you. Now you come and sit near me. I am not wearing a mask. You are not wearing a mask. If I cough, if I sneeze, and if you sit near me, you will surely be infected. Okay, so as we all say, that no one is safe from COVID-19. No one is safe. This is a very, very wrong notion, a very wrong idea, very wrong information. While COVID is here, we have to be disciplined to wear masks when we are with other people, when we are in public places. And, irrespective of anything, we have to wear masks. It's as simple as that. Yes, the next question, please.
Okay, just I think 2 more questions, because we'll have to end in a short while. One question is, what do we as a society, what can we do to stop stigmatization towards people who have been affected and have recovered from COVID-19? Another question is the vitamin C tablets, should we take them every day? And how do we boost our immune system? More questions are coming up.
Okay, I'll just take these 2 first. Okay,
yeah,
I'll just take these. Okay, Okay. Yes, stigmatization is something which we have to deal, and this is where, my dear students, your role come in. Okay, your role come in. Is it right to stigmatize anyone who is ill? You know, I've been dealing a lot with stigmatization. Of course, the time will not permit for me to share my experiences because I am working in the Meghalaya AIDS Control Society. I deal with HIV/AIDS patients. Well, I don't understand why people have to stigmatize people who are having COVID-19. It is not their fault. So it is up to you and me. It is up to you and me to be the change. We have to start from ourselves, not to stigmatize, educate our family members, and educate the society as a whole. If we do not start from ourselves to stop the stigmatization, we will never succeed. It is the same thing. If there is no self-discipline within ourselves, we will not be able to stop the to stop the virus. It's as simple as that. And where vitamin C is concerned, you do not really have to take vitamin C to boost your immune system. Just eat well, okay? Or in fact, you know, we should eat well. And, you know, like I know that especially we Khasis, we are very fond of potatoes. If there is no, I don't know, like, you know, so most of us, we only take potatoes, I've seen. Okay, so now during this time, try to boost your immunity by eating well. Take lots of green leafy vegetables, eat well, drink plenty of water, then have your meals on time. This will help to boost your immunity. Eat plenty of fruits. You do not really have to take vitamin C. Vitamin C is there in all the citrus fruits, which we all know. Okay, if you are fond of lemons, if you have, there are so many fruits, you know, citrus fruits and all, which give us vitamin C. So just eat well, sleep well. I know that's, you know, nowadays, like all of us, we are addicted to our mobiles and to our, you know, to the social media. So try to sleep well. Don't let, you know, your sleep be affected so much, because I see a lot of you young people nowadays, you do not sleep well. You have very irregular sleeping habits. So just maintain a healthy lifestyle. That will be the best immune booster for you. Okay, the next question, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll just take one more question because the program is about to end. So this question from the student says, can you explain the types of tests that are available in India? So I think it has something to do with the tests.
Okay. So, okay, where testing is concerned, there is one test, number one, which you must have all heard, is the RAT. RAT is rapid antigen test, okay, where we test the antigen, or rather the virus, and it is a rapid test, which, you know, you get the result there only, okay, but we do not consider it the gold standard test, because, you know, the results may not be very accurate. But in India, the gold standard, and where COVID-19 is concerned, the gold standard test, it is the RT-PCR test. This is the gold standard test. So if you have symptoms, yes, you may go for a rapid antigen test if the test is negative. But if you feel that you still have symptoms, please go for an RT-PCR test. RT-PCR test, it is done in Pasteur Institute. And then also, like, there are other tests like the TrueNat test, the CBNat test, which are done in the private hospitals. Yes, they are also they are also tests which you can rely on. So these are the types of testing that we are available in India right now. I will not go into the technical details because the time also will not permit, but RT-PCR is the standard gold test. Any other questions?
Ma'am, I think our time is about to end for today's lecture. So we would like to thank you very much for a very informative, interesting, and a thought-provoking lecture. And we thank ma'am for highlighting to us the various COVID-appropriate behaviors and also for showing us that discipline is the key to the fight against COVID-19. So we do hope that our students will be motivated and inspired to adopt and to maintain all the COVID appropriate behavior so that they can keep not only themselves safe, but their loved ones, their family, and their community. So we encourage our students to spread this message to your family, to your friends, and also to your community. Because it is only if everyone is safe, then each and every one of us can be safe. So thank you, ma'am, once again. And I would now like to call upon Dr. M. Dunai. He will be delivering the vote of thanks.
Okay, so first and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for being here, but I will have to do so in a structured manner. So first and foremost, I would like to thank the principal, Dr. R.M. Lingdaw, who has always been a source of inspiration to us through his tireless hard work and his encouragement. As I can see, he's still in the college right now. So may we also be as disciplined in our lives just as he is disciplined in his work as well. So thank you so much, sir, for your efforts. I would also like to thank the vice principals, Dr. R.M. Rani and Shri S. Jarwah, who have always been an integral part of our institution. And they've always assisted the principal and offered their experienced advice to us whenever we need it. I would also like to thank our coordinator, Dr. Girin Lingdaw, who is not here, but regardless, her encouragement and guidance has always helped us to organize these programs. So we thank her so much. I would also especially like to thank the resource person for today, Dr. R. Alia, for taking the time out of her very, very busy schedule, which I'm sure, to be with us and for highlighting to us the importance of being disciplined in the world that has to deal with COVID-19. And I think it is also a testament to this lecture of yours that it has generated so many responses, so many questions from the students. So thank you so much once again for taking the time to answer all of these questions. I would also like to thank the different teachers of the different departments for participating and for also bringing the students together in this program. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank especially the students as well, without whom this program wouldn't have been beneficial at all, because ultimately we as an institution, we are there for students. And so we hope all of you have learned something beneficial from this program. And I hope that you will take what you've learned from here to your families, to your friends as well, and to clarify doubts whenever you can. I would like to also thank Shri Alnur Raplang for helping to set up this meeting for us. I would also like to thank the different members of the Discipline and Cleanliness Committee for their cooperation in making this program possible. And last but not least, I suppose I have to thank anyone else who I may have forgotten to thank. So once again, stay safe, everyone, and God bless.